Alrighty, so hello lovelies. I am back today with something I wasn't entirely planning on doing. While I was trying to write a review, it just was not coming in my brain. And the review that I was writing, it was not one that I would want to share with you guys, at least for the time being. Instead, today we are doing the BookTube Newbie challenge. So I feel like I'm still pretty new on BookTube. I've only had it since January, so like 3 months now. I feel pretty comfy and I'm ready to kind of share some stuff with you guys. So got my phone and I got my Coke and we are in a cozy spot that I'm ready to share some of this with you. Let's just do it, right? Okay, question 1. Why did you start this channel? Way back when I was like a lot younger, like 7 years ago, I had a BookTube. I had the same Bookstagram, different handle, but same Bookstagram. Loved it. I loved sharing reviews. I loved sharing my thoughts and vlogs, all types of stuff. And then in college, it kind of just time did not work for me. There was other stuff that my mind needed to focus on. And so it was one of those things that just fell off. Since getting into kind of adult life, I've kind of, refound my love for books. Through that, I want to talk to people because it's kind of a lonely hobby, honestly. It's a little bit lonely, and so I just wanted to be able to share my thoughts with somebody, and my friends don't read a ton, so I couldn't talk to them about it. I've tried to make them into readers, did not work. I feel like this is a good way. Also, it's a way for me to be creative, and I've always liked making videos. Being able to be creative in this way has been a lot of fun, and it's kind of been like a stress relief. It's a stressor that is stress relief for me, if that makes sense. So that's why I started the channel. I want to talk to people about books because you can only talk to yourself so long. This isn't that different, but Question 2. What are some things that you bring to YouTube? Kind of my opinion on books, I guess. I kind of like to look closely at the books I review. I think, also having somebody who's like a normal adult, works a normal job, and, is just doing the thing. I haven't seen a ton of BookTube creators, and maybe I'm just not looking in the right spot. I haven't seen a ton of them that are like normal everyday people, have to work a 9 to 5, have a social life and have a family life, all of that type of stuff. I've seen only like full-time BookTube or book content creators or authors or they're college students. I'm in a different stage of life, and I think I can bring that perspective as well. 3. What are you most excited about for your channel? I really just like sharing the books that I read. I really like the thriller books because maybe somebody else who likes thriller books as much as I do can find the most messed up thriller books like I do enjoyable, or just something like that. I feel like that's what I'm excited about, and so having somebody to kind of share that too, or share that love for these books, I'm excited about that. I want to do author interviews. I'm really interested in doing those, reading, reviewing their book, and then doing an author interview with them. That would be really cool. And also getting back more into vlogging. I find it really relaxing to watch people's vlogs. I want to kind of give back, even though my life may not be interesting. So I think those are the things I'm excited about for the channel. Okay, why do you love reading? Literally to escape. I also well, 1, how much time it can take up. You don't really have to move a lot. That part's pretty nice. Except for when I go to the gym, I read at the gym. Why do I like reading? I really just can't believe that authors and writers, they had the story in their head and they were able to put it on a page, a laptop, computer, and then it gets published and I get to read it, and it's just I can't believe this came from somebody's head, something so beautiful and makes me feel so deeply. I think that's why I like reading too. It's kind of wow. But yeah, I think that's why I like reading. 5, what book series got you into reading? I think the book series that got me into reading when I was 18 was Throne of Glass. That was my first Sarah J. Maas series I ever read, and I don't even think Empire of Storms was out when I started reading it. Like, it was a while ago. So that one got me hooked. And I still think the perfect reading order for her series is Throne of Glass, then Court of Thorns and Roses, and then Crescent City. It's also been weird. It's been like I've been able to grow up with those books. It's kind of strange. That was kind of like a main one. And then when I was graduating college and I went through like a really trying time in my life, I reread Court of Thorns and Roses and Throne of Glass. So that kind of got me back into it. I actually have a tattoo for each of those series. Those are all the bookish tattoos I have right now. I'll share those some other time. Then the one that really got me back into reading recently, let me see. Okay, so For the Wolf and For the Throne, those were really good. It was a duology. And then I think the Dreamland Billionaires. Zodiac Academy is also in there. Dreamland Billionaires, that's one that's in there for me too. And that was probably like the most recent one that like really like for me, like in the last 9 months. Yeah, those are some of the series that I've really liked. I really liked Zodiac Academy because it was like got me back into reading when I was in college. Because it was easy to read, it was enjoyable. Like, yeah, the stakes were like high, but not really. So I think those were kind of the series for me that got me into reading. So I know they're kind of basic answers, especially now after ACOTAR like blew up, but I have all the original covers. When I finish the library and I do a full like shelf tour, library tour, I'll share some of my special stuff with you because I didn't even know that those were gonna be like special one day. Number 6, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? So I like Heather and I like JC. Oh, and I like Grace. So one, I would ask, very specific, how long do your Kindles stay charged for? I can get away with like 10 days of mine and being an avid reader. 2, how long or like how many hours a day do you think you're reading, and how do you have like the time to do that and have like somewhat of a social life? 3, I guess for the ones that do work like full-time jobs, like does your work know that you do this to some regard? Like, do they know about this, or are you still kind of like quiet about it? Because I'm currently in the phase of being quiet about it. And also just like the other one, I don't know what number I'm on now, if you could only recommend one book to people for the rest of like the year or decade or your life or whatever, all time, what would be the one book you would always recommend to people? And why? I guess why? I guess it's, and also like, how do you find the time to be a content creator / have a job life, friends / be able to read and do your hobby? Because that one, it's a hard balance for me, especially like on days where it's editing or filming heavy and I have to work that day, and it's like I don't want reading to fall off of that. Number 7 is, what challenges will be the hardest with BookTube? For me, I think it's just going to come down to a time management issue. My job does ask a lot of me. It takes up a lot of time and a lot of brain space. And when I'm hanging out in the evening with my boyfriend or whatever, I don't bring any type of content creation, anything like that into it. I don't want to have to be editing videos at night while we're on the couch and like hanging out. Don't want to have to be doing it on a Friday night. It's really going to just be like a time management situation for me and moving stuff around so I can be able to do what I need to do. And also like reading books in a timely manner and then writing the reviews within like 3 days of me finishing the book, because that's when it comes out best. And then filming, editing, posting, all of that. And also just trying to interact with more booktubers and book creators out there, because that community is important and it's pretty cool. Number 8, when did you start reading? This would be a great one to ask my mom. I'm gonna see her like tomorrow, so I could ask her. I think I started reading before kindergarten. I'm my mom's 3rd child, and she is an early childhood educator. Teacher, I can't remember what the official thing is, but so she like teaches children, like little children, and teaches them how to read. I think I probably read before kindergarten, probably when I was 4.5, I'm gonna guess. I've always liked reading. If you can believe that, I've always liked reading, so it's not a far stretch. It's not like I wasn't a big reader until recently. Like, I've always read a lot. 9, where do you read? It depends. I guess I'll take you through like my whole day and then like a weekend. No, I'll just take you through like a whole ideal day. Okay, so it's like warmer months. So in the morning, I'll have breakfast, and I usually read when I have my breakfast and coffee before work. So probably about 30 minutes to an hour a day, depending on the day. And that'll either be at the kitchen table, on the couch, or out on the back patio. And then I will read on my phone at the gym with my clicker. I really like doing that while I'm on the treadmills. And then I'll come home. I'll read while I cook, like on the moments like where you're just waiting on the oven and it's like 10 minutes and you're like, well, I don't want to go sit down. And then probably back out on the back patio, weather depending, or on the couch. I also have my chair in the library, which I like to do a lot. I'll read kind of like while I'm winding down for the night, like getting my makeup off, hopping in the shower. I have my Kindle up and I can like prop it up and read a little bit. So that part's like, that's a weirder habit, but it's how I do it. And then finally, I will read in bed right here. Love reading the Kindle in bed. I usually don't even take like hard copies to bed. I only take my Kindle because I can lay on my side and like read. I guess those are kind of like where I read the most. I like having it be quiet while I read, so that part's kind of hard and challenging to do all the time. That's where I'll read for the most part, everywhere. And number 10 is, what kind of books do you read? I read thrillers. I'm like halfway, like half a step into horror books. I like reading fantasy, but not high fantasy, like romantasy. I'm not super into like YA fantasy anymore. For some reason, it like gives me the ick sometimes. And I like reading contemporary romances slash spicy romances, like not erotic, like no, but more like where there's like a couple scenes. So I like reading contemporary romances, so either like real life or like the paranormal-ish type of stuff. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, those are really my main three. I will read historical fiction, but it's not my favorite, but I'll read it. I'll enjoy it, but I don't know if it's like something I totally gravitate towards anymore. So yeah, widespread right there. But those are the books that I'll read. Hopefully this answered a couple questions that you might have. I feel like this is a good intro to my channel and to get to know me. So yeah, thanks for watching the BookTube Newbie Challenge. If you have other questions that you want to know about, you can go ahead and put those in the comments. I'm really curious to see if you guys actually have anything, and maybe I make like a round 2 of this video from your questions. Let's see, just thanks for watching. So if you like this kind of like weird shenanigan talk, just chit chat sometimes, you can go ahead and like this video. And if you're looking for more stuff like this, or book reviews, or recommendations, or reading vlogs, or just life in general, go ahead and consider subscribing to my channel. I post a new video every Friday. I also have a Bookstagram page that you can go ahead and follow. I have the link in the description that'll take you right there. And I just post reviews or anything that kind of like comes to mind that I feel like posting about. That's all I've got for you. And thanks for popping in and having a chit chat with me. And I will talk to you guys later.